All right, let's do it live on a Monday edition of the program. Merely Bo, the Great Z, Sun Kiss. Look at it out there.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Hope all the mothers out there listening had a happy Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah, Big Mom's Day. Big Mom's Day, yeah.
Official Nana of the program had a delightful time. So on Friday, Gibbe, you remember this. On Friday, we were going through Gibbe. We were talking about, I was going to have my mom over for brunch.
Yeah.
And Gibbe, we're like, what are you going to make for her? And I'm like, probably an omelet or eggs or something of that, variety.
Sure.
And he's like, well, you don't eat that. What are you going to eat? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll get some like a tacos or I was just kind of like thinking.
You were really set to die on that taco hill.
Yeah, I really wanted tacos. And apparently I mentioned ribs.
Ribs at what time's the brunch for ribs? I mean, that's
it was lunch. It was brunch.
I don't believe you mentioned.
Well, we moved it to
I've
1.
Done a
We moved
brunch
it to
10
1.
Okay, now that's lunch.
Well, yeah, so
1
lunch.
is lunch. Okay.
So my mom, who for many, many years didn't eat meat at all, I was like, so what do you want for brunch? Ribs and sweet potato fries. So
all right.
We had delicious ribs yesterday.
Fantastic.
I did have to get up. I had to get up a little early to get them into the sous vide.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a delight. But I mean, you could have given me a million guesses as to what she would have wanted for that lunch before ribs would have come out of my mouth. I didn't even think that was possible. And I'll tell you, it was great. It was a delight.
Well, they're treat. It's a real treat.
It is a real treat.
Yeah.
And there was no competition for baby back ribs. I really had my pick of the litter because I don't believe that it is
I don't think it's a Mom's Day.
I don't think it's a popular Mother's Day choice. Yeah.
So
no. I mean, it was flush
all that you needed
with baby back ribs. I got to really pick out the best ones.
Yeah, we were all there. We celebrated the blonde and my mother-in-law. We were at Pier W for a nice brunch.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, you must have made that reservation a year in advance.
I don't know. Close for me, very convenient.
No, it's right around the corner.
It's right around the corner.
Well, you had celebrations all
beautiful
weekend.
out there. Yeah, we had Bootsies. They had the big first communion. That was a big one. So we had. He did. He was pretty great. I mean, everything went really well for him. He had his snacks lunch, which he was excited about. So one thing that he loves a chicken wing. I sent you the image of him sucking down a chicken wing.
Really likes a flat, it looks like.
I don't think he doesn't discriminate. He'll take either. He's for either. But one thing that upon request was that he likes to have the full assortment of dipping sauces. Yep. He wants them cooked naked, and then he'll apply the dipping sauce of his choosing.
Got it.
So that's his operation.
I like
he likes to be able to bounce a little bit of this, and this, give them to me naked, and then I'll apply them how I want. I'm going to sort it out.
I might have
so he had his assortment of dipping sauces.
What are his sauces?
It looks like he was spending a lot of time in a barbecue, and then he would bounce. He would try them all, and then he would bounce into like a sesame one, which is kind of where he would go. Those would be the two. He was vacillating back and forth. Big on a ranch more than blue cheese on a dipping.
Of course.
Double dip. He would go ranch over blue cheese. He navigated it with nary a stain on his crisp white shirt.
It was very crisp.
Which was impressive that he was able to navigate that. He did have a big moment in the first communion. Are either of you guys Catholic?
I had my first communion.
You know what this is about. Yeah. So I'm not. I'm Presbyterian, but my kids are, so it basically makes me. So you get in line. Yeah. You take the bread, and then you're going to do the wine. That's the way it goes. So we had this big talk.
Do they still say that it's like the body of Christ?
The body of Christ and the blood of Christ.
Okay.
Catholics, they're not afraid of giving you all the details.
Yeah.
So all these little kids all dressed up, and away we go, and he gets up there, and beforehand we had talked, and the teacher even said, like, have the conversation about the wine or not before, because they don't have to. It doesn't. It's not that big a deal if they don't. Many kids don't. It's not a big deal. So we had talked to him. We said, well, how do you think about this? And he's like, yeah, I don't think I want to do it. I said, okay, very good. So we get up there, and we
feel like game time switch.
We take the bread, and everyone's doing the bread, and he's first, and everybody's happy, and there's a bunch of people. And we go to kind of move out, and he just left 10 turns right into the wine.
Of course he did.
Goes right into the wine.
Of course.
You knew how it was going to go.
Yes.
So he goes right into the wine, and
he spirit animal. Of course
he takes a decent gulp.
I bet, a hearty swig.
Yep. Yeah. It probably wasn't a prime Napa Cab, is my guess. Is probably not the wine that they serve. I'm guessing it comes in a box. So a very bitter look on his face. That was horrible.
Tell them that's not what wine's about. Tell 'em-
I did explain. I
tell
said,
'em-
well, your spirit animal can teach you about
Yes.
wine down the road.
Yes.
And you guys can enjoy it down the road.
We
But for
shall.
now, just think of that as the taste of wine and never consume it for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But as we went through, so that they get to my oldest, and NBC is, Beamsy takes his wine, and then NBC goes to take his wine. And up until this point, they're just like, they pour it into the little kids, right? Like give them a pour. Well, NBC's 12 now, and the guy goes, well, you can take it. And he goes, pfft, like he did that. Pfft, and he just goes, glug, glug, handed it back. I went, oh, jeez. We're on. So now we're glugging
glugging wine.
is how that went. Yeah,
Good.
so that was all very good.
In Europe, they would have been glugging.
They would have
wine
been glugging it. They would
for
have been
years.
fine. The weather was insane. So we had hail.
Oh yeah, Saturday was terrible.
We had hail. Legit. I don't know if did you guys have hail?
No, we just had a lot of rain. It
Twice.
rained out my golf game.
Me
It was
too.
Very annoying.
Yeah, it was stupid.
We had 2 hail instances.
No hail.
Downpours in between, and then just legitimate hail to the point of like looked like it had snowed. Honestly,
It's wild.
at the club, it looked like it had snowed, and I hadn't seen that here, so that was wild. He pulled off. He asked my wife. He wanted 2 cakes, so she made 1 cake, 2 different layers. One was a chocolate mousse cake, and then the other one was a strawberry cassata cake that he had on top.
Oh man.
Your wife made those?
Oh God, no.
I was gonna say. I'm like, that's it.
No.
I got a cake request.
Yeah, no, she's not. No, we're not doing that. Not layer cakes with different flavors. We weren't having any of that. But a success. It all worked. Everybody wins, and so all of that was very good. Did you guys see the Northern Lights?
Through a phone, you could see it a lot better than the naked eye. But yes, saw them.
So, I don't know. I've been living in a barn under a rock, something at the bottom of Lake Erie. I'm not really sure, so I had no idea it was actually going on till it was going on.
Okay.
And then it was like, my kid texted me from Paris, and she's like, go outside, go see the Northern Lights. I'm like, isn't it 4 a.m. there? How about you go to bed, and I'll go outside and look. And it was pretty cool. I mean, you could see them great from our house. So
Without the camera?
no,
But
needed
with
the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, the sky was purple. You could tell it was a different
Yeah.
setup, but then when you used your camera, you could see it really well.
We're adjacent to the national park on the east side, and so you're able to see kind of in the distance a little bit, and you could see like the purplish green, but it did feel like kind of a cheat code that like everyone's taking these photos with their cameras, and
That's
it's like
you see it through the camera. Yeah,
you're really you're not seeing that.
I don't see it.
I don't see that, man.
No,
That ain't it.
it's cool.
Very cool, but that ain't it.
No, like I saw the eclipse, brother.
Yeah, you lived that.
That was real.
Yeah, this was
good.
not that. No.
This is like people are saying we've seen 2 amazing phenomena. Like, no, we saw 1 amazing phenomenon, and then this was like cool on a camera.
What was it in the cameras that allowed for the cameras to pick it up?
Maybe the way they can filter out light better, more effectively than the human eye. That's my guess.
You
That's
said
based
that
on
emphatically.
nothing.
It feels like it could be true.
I mean, what else would it be?
Who would argue with it?
Not me. Oh, he's a business closing 8-figure deals. I bet he had a steak this morning. Now he's closing an 8-figure deal.
He met Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
At the big First Communion, Uncle Tom, apparently they serve on some board. Him and Uncle Tom do.
Really?
He goes, and then he said his name, and I said, Swag? And he's like, Swag. And I'm like, that's Senior Swag. I went, okay.
Oh, so
How
you
about that?
found out from Uncle Tom
From
that
Uncle
he
Tom
knew
that they served on some board or
Okay.
something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. Do you know this guy? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that guy.
Yeah.
I know all about that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's the way that goes.
I wonder what his dress is on the board. Was
Well,
he
I think
aware
it's like
of his...
some sort of a church thing.
Okay.
So I'm sure it's a casual.
Okay.
To be fair, though, I'm not sure. I don't think Uncle Tom would pick up on
The greatness,
any
the
of
heat on the feet.
all that's going on.
No,
No.
probably not.
No,
Probably not.
Probably not. Did you end up going to the Cavs game Saturday or not?
Did not. No.
Good for you.
No Cavs game. We had Sims's 50th
Oh, that's right.
and watched it over there. And did not go. They need to. There's a big one tonight, 7:00.
It's cooked, buddy.
Well, yeah, of course. They're in no danger of winning the NBA championship. I mean, I think that is abundantly clear. But you would like to at least get a game 6 back home.
Yeah,
you want
'cause
to win one more.
Yeah, it's one thing I noticed like all weekend long, whether it was last week in New York or the game here or even the soccer game down in Columbus between Columbus and Cincinnati, big rivals there, or the NHL stuff in Boston or Edmonton. Northern climates, it's just great. It's just great. It's just we're locked in postseason wise. That the Rocket Mortgage was ready to rumble on Saturday night. It was ready to go.
Yeah,
and it just
it's a good sports town here. There's no doubt.
They were just hoping for something to get a little bit of momentum, and it just wasn't anything that was going to happen. One thing I noticed in the NBA, it feels like if you're down 10, it's over. It's so hard to dig out of it. I mean, I was watching the Nuggets and Timberwolves last night, and like the T-Wolves are down 12, and they cut it to 6 and then back to 12. Like you just can't have
That's
a
what happened Saturday
run.
night.
That's
they
right.
got it down to like 8,
Yeah.
7. You're like, all right, maybe here we go. Nope.
It takes so
Right
much
back to
effort
15.
to get it.
Well, it's even like the
You need
Magic,
like 6 stops.
the Magic in Game 7, right? Then they were down 10,
Yeah.
and then they would be able to get it to like 2, but they never could take the lead.
Yep.
Right.
And then that was it. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So we've got what? So in the Timberwolves series, they're combined 0-4 at home, right?
Yes, everybody lost home games. Yes,
Every home game.
every home game.
When the Knicks Pacers are the opposite, home teams won all 4.
Yep. Yeah.
So that one's 2-2. This is 3-1.
Yep. And then
we're 2-1.
Dallas
2-1. We're
is-
trying to get to 2-2.
Dallas is 2-1.
2-1
and they play
Dallas.
tonight to go to
Right.
in.
Yeah, we're on
in
that
Dallas.
schedule. We're on the Dallas.
Yeah, I love a 7:00. I'm a big fan
Yeah,
of
it's
that.
it's a great
It's
start
nice.
time.
Yeah, it's tough. I saw Allen at shoot around, but then Mitchell's game time.
Mitchell was not at shoot around, I guess.
Does he need to be though?
He's doing just fine.
Yeah, he's not the
Get the
problem.
treatment done.
Yeah, knowing him and just watching the way he goes about his business, my hunch is he'll be.
I mean, the fact that Allen was shooting free throws has to be a positive sign.
Yeah, I mean everyone wants to give it a go.
Yeah, let's go. It's time. It's time.
Shoot him up and get him out there.
Yeah, so there you go. Nice little weekend. Gibbe, did you do a good job on Mom's Day and everything? Everybody's
24
happy.
at our house yesterday.
You got the nice weather.
You got
Long
good
weekend,
weather,
man.
Gibbe.
It was a long weekend.
You got good weather though.
It was. Someone asked
Thank
me how the
goodness.
food was. I go, you tell me. I really didn't even eat. Like, it's one of those when you get done cooking, the last thing I wanted to do was actually eat.
Yeah.
I wasn't even hungry. I'm like, someone give me a beer.
Yeah.
I've sweated through 2 shirts. I'm outside. I got the griddle going. We did like an Asian theme. So we did homemade sauces for all the different chickens
Oh my
and porks.
God,
and
Gibbe.
I had
You're like a food truck.
I had a Thai peanut sauce over noodles. It was to die
Jeez.
for. that
Oh
I
my
made.
God, Gibbe.
Yeah.
You had a food truck. Is what you had. 24
I said
people.
last night as I
incredible.
talked to my wife as I was falling asleep. I said, "Hey, next time can we not do the 5-course meal?
Yeah, maybe.
Like, how about just brats and burgers? How about something simple?"
maybe we'll keep it simple next time around.
It was great, and the weather was unbelievable.
Yesterday was that's my favorite. Like
Yep.
66, sunny.
She was like, "Everybody's going to eat outside." I'm like, "Are we sure? Like the older people are going to want to eat
Yeah.
outside?" Everybody wanted to be outside.
Sun.
Of course they
Yep.
did.
Yeah, we want to see the sun. We don't
Yep.
see it enough, and so when you get a chance, you got to take full advantage of it. Especially coming after the rain. Saturday was crazy.
Yeah, well, and that's
And Friday was so nice.
Friday ended up being great.
Friday was
but,
perfect.
Yeah, it was just we just lost the one day. Just Saturday was
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
Saturday was lost in the rain.
I had big plans for Saturday.
Yeah, yeah. You and your spirit animal.
Yeah.
Both of you are okay though. You worked out.
Both fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Worked out okay.
We're fine.
Worked out okay.
We're fine.
All right. Do we have Ronnie Hickman coming up
I
next?
believe he is calling in.
All right. So Ronnie Hickman, our safety, former Buckeye. Go
I just
ahead.
want everybody. I just put a little thought out there for Pedro.
Okay. I didn't know
Give
if
him a
you
little
wanted.
Pedro.
what-
No.
what-
We give him a little Pedro right now. A little heart issue. Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. Hopefully to worry about right now. But we'll know soon. Probably while. Maybe I'm gonna get another one of those powerful texts while we're on air. see how I react to this one.
Yeah, we'll see. It's always
It's
an
always in play.
adventure. It's always in play. It's always an adventure. Hot topics today presented by University Hospitals. Those are those. We hit Ronnie Hickman coming up next. We're off and running on a Monday. Cleveland Browns Daily 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back in Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Time to add on the Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea Hotline. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. On the other end, our safety, who was an absolute rocket ship last year, bursting onto the scenes. Ronnie Hickman joining us. Ronnie, thank you so much for taking the time. How you doing, buddy? How's everything going?
Thank you for having me. The pleasure's mine. But I'm doing great. We got a sunny day in Cleveland here today, so I'm enjoying it.
How you using your sunny day?
I got to get outside, get some sun in. Just got back from facility, so just got to take advantage of it.
Ronnie, when you think back, a year ago at this time, what was kind of the biggest difference when you're walking into meetings now versus when you did a year ago as an undrafted free agent who wasn't really sure what your role, if you would have one, if you would make the team? What's the biggest difference in the last 12 months from that start to where you are now playing some big-time ball down the stretch for the Browns?
Honestly, I think that level of definitely not knowing what's next, but I think now for me it's just a matter of knowing or having done the things that we're doing now already. So I'm doing it knowing and being able to learn from everything that I did last year. So that's kind of a little comforting. But there's still always that uncertainty in this business. So you got to go and earn it each day. No
doubt. Very, very wise words there from Ronnie Hickman entering his second season in the NFL. I want to take you back to Thursday night, the Jets, the playoff clincher, and obviously you got things started with the pick six. What was that moment like for you? And now that the season's over, you've been able to reflect on just how special that was, and what do you kind of remember about that, and then the reaction of the crowd afterwards?
Honestly, in the moment, you really can never really enjoy it. It's when you get to the sideline where you kind of can sit back and kind of think about what just happened. But honestly, a dream come true. Any safety playing in the game, they dream of making a pick, and let alone being able to put some points on the score for your team. It's just the cherry on the top, I like to say. But it was a great feeling, and honestly, feelings like that, it just motivates you to get that feeling again.
Ronnie, when you think about, and Z asked you about, having to prove yourself, and you said, look, got to always continue to prove yourself. When you go back a year ago at this time and coming out of the draft and not being drafted, if you're going to play at a place like Ohio State, you have to have tremendous self-belief. If you're going to get into the league, you have to have tremendous self-belief. When your draft came and went and your name was not called, how did you maintain that belief in what you were capable of? And I'm assuming just this drive of all I need is a chance.
You definitely have to be able to transfer that whatever energy you're feeling and put it into the right direction. I think, for myself personally, it was tough to not hear my name being called. But I think my parents and my whole support system did a great job of letting me realize hey, you still were able to, make it to the league. And honestly speaking, once you make it through that door, you are just as equal as the next man. So understanding that and then getting in the building and then realizing, you're just playing the game that you've been playing since you were 5. It all comes together and helps.
You think about your career and the arc it took. You obviously had all those picks in the preseason, and then Juan gets dinged up right out of the gate. You end up playing early in the season and then really, really playing late in the season. What was kind of that preseason, okay, I definitely belong, you make the team, to playing some early, then not playing as much, and then playing a ton down the stretch?
It's kind of just, I say it a lot, but it's just the nature of the game. We play a tremendously long season, and with that comes injury. And then back to my days at Ohio State, we used to say competitive excellence, which is just being ready when your number's called. Not saying that I could tell you I knew it was going to be called in that week, but just having trust and faith that, at some point you'll get a chance to prove yourself, and then going out there and take advantage of the opportunity.
What was the moment, and maybe it came as early as week 1, because he played week 1 and then didn't play again until the game against Arizona, actually into November. Week 1, you were in there for some important snaps in that win over the Cincinnati Bengals. When was the moment that you were like, yeah, I totally belong, I can do this?
Honestly, the preseason. I had a really good preseason, and then
yes, you did.
I believe I got to play a little bit more meaningful snaps against the Steelers, kind of late in that game, And I felt pretty comfortable out there, being an actual NFL season game. But I kind of had that, it kind of, clicked, during the preseason and in practice and stuff like that.
So we had a Buckeye drafted, Mike Hall, former teammate of yours. What can you tell us about Mike? How excited were you to get Mike in the fold here? Have you guys had quite a bit of dialogue since his draft?
I've been big on Mike ever since, guys in the building have asked about me about the next upcoming Buckeyes, and I've been big on Mike since day one. I mean, as a safety, he's just the D tackle, the guy you want in the trenches doing that work. And I'm sure the fans will see as soon as they get to watch, what type of player he is. He's a smart football player, but he brings that physical nature and that dog mentality that we need as a defense, and ultimately it'll help the team.
When you look around, and even take your room, Rodney McLeod wanted to come back. You mentioned the defensive tackle room. Mike Hall's joined in a room, in which Shelby Harris wanted to come back, in which Mo Hurst wanted to come back, in which Zadarius Smith at defensive end wanted to come back. You had a lot of guys want to come back because of that sense of, unfinished business, that there is something special happening here. As a young player, are you able to feel that as well when you see that the guys that, perhaps you were watching in the league, and certainly a guy like, Rodney McLeod at your position that you've been watching for a very, very long time, that they wanted to come back and be a part of it? And do you feel like after that game in Houston that you have unfinished business as well?
Yeah, I think ultimately it's just a testament to the culture that, we've built as players, and that Coach Schwartz has implemented as our DC, and then also Coach Stefanski. But the environment that we've built in that on the defensive side speaking, it's just something that you want to be a part of. And I think we're all built in and we're all wired the same way, and we know what we can do. And we know that we haven't hit that potential. We owe it to the city, and we owe it to ourselves as well.
Ronnie, this is obviously, you look around this AFC and you see all of the teams that are out there that view themselves as Super Bowl contenders. The work towards that is being done right now. What can you tell us about the atmosphere in the building at large, the veterans on the team, the sense of urgency? Is that there? I mean, you played at a place like Ohio State where you got to go win the national championship or it's a bust. Do you sense that type of urgency here?
I sense a group of guys who knows what it takes, and guys that are willing to do whatever it takes, and that's kind of like our mindset. We know what it takes, and we've came close, but we know that wasn't close enough. So like I said earlier, we not only owe it to the fans, but we owe it to ourselves. And we're gonna put in the work, and then we're not looking at that right now. Right now we still in phase 2 right now, so we're still building. But we know what it takes, and we're willing to do whatever.
I would imagine that, C.J. Stroud, your former teammate, there's maybe been a little Buckeye talk this summer after that playoff game. I'm sure you're very hungry to get back at him, but was that kind of a surreal moment that you're making your playoff debut going against a guy that you had gone against in practice and seen for, your time at Ohio State?
Yeah, 100%. And there was definitely some talks. We trained together in the off season.
Okay.
So we had our disputes about it. We definitely did. But, looking back at it and after the game, being able to talk to him, it's definitely a surreal moment. Someone you went to school with and grinded with. And just to see him go out there and perform the way he did, it was just great to see. I'm extremely happy for his future, and definitely hoping, I get another chance.
Yeah, you get another shot. Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. Ronnie, pretty elite high school lacrosse player. Back in the day, you were originally committed to Rutgers, right, Ron, for lacrosse?
Definitely. Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So we don't have two-sport athletes very often anymore. But there is PLL now. And I'm not that we're just as all tongue in cheek. But do you think you could play at that level? Ronnie was an All-American high school lacrosse player out of Jersey.
Wow.
I mean, honestly, I think the biggest difference was just, the pay. It just wasn't really because I definitely love sport. I love the two sports equally, but, once it came down to future and, which sport is playing the most.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. You made the right choice.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Do you think you could play because you think you play professional lacrosse now and in addition to your NFL career? Would that be something possible? Would the skills still be there?
I could definitely. I think I could. Like, if I played, I could definitely go play professional lacrosse.
Yeah, I think so.
Not do both though, but I could definitely. I think I could definitely play professional lacrosse for sure.
All my boys play. If you could give their 10, 12, 10, and 8 one piece of advice.
What positions they play?
All right, my oldest plays. The two oldest ones play attack, and the little guy just runs around right now. But the two oldest play attack.
I tell them to do as much as they can, and you said they're young right now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I give one of them I let one of them be a long stick midi. I let one of them try face off. I tell them to try to explore, and then once they find something that they feel like they got their click or it's clicking for them, I tell them to hone in and focus on that.
Great advice, buddy.
I like it.
Good stuff. Great talking to you,
Great
pal.
talking to you. Go enjoy the sun.
Around. Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy the sun.
I will. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, that's Ronnie Hickman. You chose correctly. A little bit more in this one for sure. Yeah. Good talking to him there. We do have some news on the NFL schedule. We'll get you that news coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Oh, don't you dare miss Billy Joel, Rod Stewart. They're together for the first time ever. It's Friday, September 13th, Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets are on sale now. Visit clevelandbrownsstadium.com/BillyandRod 2024.
Billy and Rod 2024.
It's Billy Joel. It's Rod Stewart. They're together.
One night only.
One
It's
night
only your
only.
chance. Your only chance.
Only
it.
chance.
The voice
ever.
will be there. You'll
Voice
see
will
him.
be there. Big Rod Stewart guy, right?
Huge Rod Stewart guy.
Big Rod Stewart.
I feel like the voice and Gibbe might have a brawl next time they get together after Gibbe made some inflammatory comments on Friday's
Voice?
program.
Not on the voice.
Well,
You besmirched the voice?
no.
well,
And I actually, as soon as the show I went downstairs for Stefanski
Yeah.
and saw Jim, and I was like, just want to let you know, I ripped Boston fan all morning. He goes, hey, you should.
you said Boston
So
sports
I-
fans are the worst.
For what? What was the beef? What did he
hates
do?
We were talking about Thursday night's
He
game.
hates him.
He hates it.
You're like one of my kids telling on the other one. You hear what he did? He did this, Dad. He hates him.
hates him.
He
And the
did it.
beating-
He can't stand him.
I don't even remember what the context was. He's just
I
like-
do, because with 5 minutes left, they showed a picture of all the Celtic fans walking to the gate. And I'm like,
Oh, right.
good. They all suck. I hope that they have a
That was
fantastic night and it rains on them the whole way home.
From our win on Thursday over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. That's
I'm
what
like,
it was.
there's nothing better than watching them. And he was like, what? I go, I hate Boston fan. About as much as I hate Yankee fan.
Okay.
There's a sense of
It's
entitlement.
top three
There
and
is
then
a
North
sense
Carolina.
of arrogance. What's that?
And then North
North
Carolina
Carolina was your third?
especially
Yeah. Tar Heels.
bandwagon fans like Gerard Cherry, who he named by name.
I did. I spared no expense on the name dropping.
Those are tight circles, really, the booth and the
It
sideline.
really is. No shots at Emory
No shots at Emory.
or Joe Montana?
No.
Or Jeff George. So that's a win.
But speaking of, by the way, look at these.
What do you get?
Look at these. I mean, it's
We had a
beautiful.
listener send us some
Yeah,
good
Rick-
Oh, the star picks. I remember star
Rick
picks.
Tishma in Columbus said, found these two cards while going through my childhood collection. Figured you guys mostly make them.
Oh,
That's right.
that's
Would appreciate
great.
them more than me. Love the show. Keep up the good work.
This is great. What a great.
Thank you, Rick.
Good job, Rick. Good job out of you.
Yeah.
I love the star picks. I don't think they were ever worth anything.
No.
But I just love that they were in their college
Yeah.
unis. I thought those were so cool. That's very, very good.
I mean, this is such a beautiful look here, though. That era.
Well, that
Falcons.
to me looks like a.
Those are perfect.
I'll tell you what this looks like to me. It looks to me like Pacific Collection does not have NFL licensing.
Because there's no logo.
There's no logo on the helmet. There's no logo on the jersey.
There's a potential for that.
Am I wrong?
They
No.
took it off the sleeve. The sleeve
Off
would
the
have
sleeve,
Falcon.
and they took it off the helmet.
Yeah.
Let's see what it says on the back. Jeff showed his true grit as a member of the 91 Colts, hanging in the pocket for 485 pass attempts. He was thrown for 481 yards and losses that season, but picked up 2,910 yards through the air. Interesting fact on the back of that. But it's interesting, it does have Atlanta Falcons quarterback on the back. Oh, and on the back, it does have the logos. How weird.
Yeah, the back jersey. I thought I
Isn't
saw
that
a
something?
logo on it.
Isn't
yeah.
that wild?
So it's licensed
That's
by the
almost
NFL
a limited
quarterback
edition card,
club.
I feel like, because I've never
They
seen
clearly
one.
blocked them out on the front.
On the front, they took I wonder if there's like something where a certain size of it they couldn't have. if it
Maybe
was
the
too
actual
big.
photograph because of copyright.
Yeah, but
It's the
this is a
same
photograph.
photo on the back as it is on the front.
really?
Isn't
There's
it?
one on the
no,
back?
He's throwing. This is a follow through versus
But what difference would it make?
none.
None.
This is licensed by the NFL quarterback club, and it's got the Play Football NFL logo on it. I think maybe it was an error.
What was he? One of the all-time NFL draft busts?
No.
Is that right?
No, he wasn't.
We have that
actually.
correctly.
No, you don't. You don't even
Somebody
have
had him
that.
on-
You don't even have
some
that.
guy had him on the top 20.
You don't even
wasn't
have
it?
that close.
Yeah,
That guy's a
Yeah,
bum.
some guy had him in.
somebody did. Well, I read it. So you're like my kids with their. This kid's ranked 5th in the country in 4th graders. Who says it? Oh, we saw a list online. Okay, great,
We do lists too.
fantastic. Anybody
We're right
can
in
do
the middle
a
of
list.
list season right
Give me all
now.
the lists you want, kids. The NFL schedule is going to come out Wednesday at 8. So basically, this is going to be a slow bleed, right? You're going to get games here or there over the next 48 hours.
Every network gets to pick one game to announce that airs on their network, and then the
At
international
any point
games,
during the year, or just week one.
that I don't know. Last year it wasn't just week one.
No, because they did. No, it was
CBS did something. It was Bills Chiefs.
I can't remember. So you basically are locked in for that. You're going to get the Chiefs in Baltimore on Thursday night. We were wondering if it would maybe be Houston. And I know people down in Houston were curious if it would be Houston. But instead it is Chiefs, it is Ravens, it is AFC Championship game redo. It'll be on Thursday night, September 5th in Kansas City. Here we come. So you have that to open, and then we knew that you would have Game 2 in Brazil the following night, which is the Packers and Eagles in Sao Paulo. The first one is on NBC. The second one is streaming, right?
Peacock. Yep.
Peacock.
So
Peacock only, right?
Peacock only unless you're in the markets.
It's so brutal how they just re-engineered cable.
Completely.
Did you guys see the Time Warner Disney Hulu bundle that's coming in the fall? That Disney is gonna kind of have it all under one. They're still independently owned, but Warner needs more eyeballs on its streamers, which would seem to make sense why they would try to keep the NBA, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to. But you'll basically pay Disney and it'll all be under that bundle. So instead of paying, those opened at like $6.99 a month or whatever, you'd be $60. You're going to get all three of them, and basically you're right back to where you were with cable.
Totally.
That's how that's going to work out.
Turner can't lose. We can't let them lose basketball. We need that. That show is better than any NBA game. It's better. It's the best part of the NBA.
Yeah, but the problem is I think they're going to, and the
So
big
do I.
problem is Ernie is not going to leave Turner.
Correct.
Because that's
Right.
his home. I mean, his dad was at Turner. He's not leaving Turner. So it'll be, Shaq and then I don't know what would happen with the others. Like Chuck is the apple of everyone's eye. Does Chuck work? Because here's the thing about being on that show, if you're Kenny or Shaq, you're playing, and it takes a heck of a lot of lack of ego on Shaq's part because he's the better player historically.
He plays though like yes, he's second fiddle, but he's like 1A fiddle.
I don't have a problem with that.
He still like comes off as a giant star. Kenny's the one who is
Kenny's
obviously
found his niche though.
Yeah,
Like he does his little highlights
and he
he's-
walks to his board.
and he makes fun of him a little bit here and there, and he takes it. Like you have to be able to be a willing partner
Yes.
with Chuck.
Yes.
Like Shaq sets him up.
Did you think when they were singing that song for Casamigos, Jalapeno Tequila?
No, I didn't.
And
see
Shaq was singing this whole song, and Ernie was loving it, and then Charles was like, "That's terrible." He's like,
Terrible.
you
But
guys are
that's
terrible.
you were
You're
talking about
terrible.
setting up. Ernie does such a good job, and he'll
Ernie's
rile him
he's
up
a
in
maestro.
commercial break. Like,
He's
hey,
that
what about
good.
this?
Yeah,
like he knows how to get the most out of those guys.
I think he's the best to ever do that job.
He's phenomenal.
I
He's great on that
The best point
podcast.
guard. Chris Fowler was really good on Game Day.
not
When he
as a
did Game
play-by-play
Day.
guy.
I agree. But
the podcast he does with Chuck, like the Steam Room.
Yes,
He's great on that too. I mean, you could tell, and Chuck loves him. Like it's a genuine.
they've been together
affection
for
and
20
friendship.
years. I
Yeah.
mean, more, right? How
Yep.
long's Chuck been on that show? Since the late 90s?
Yeah,
I mean, it's got to be 20-some years on that show.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best. Everybody else has been trying to do that.
Can't.
Yeah. In an era now where I don't even seek out that one. But for example, the game, it must have been the game, was it our game Saturday? Was on TNT?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So
That's how I saw this stuff.
Yeah. Normally I wouldn't watch post.
No,
like
I'll
once
watch
it's
for
over.
them, yeah.
But I stuck around for 20 minutes
Because
to watch the tomfoolery.
the ballyhoo.
Yeah. That's all I wanted.
Since 2000.
Yeah. That's a quarter century, man.
Yeah,
Is he gotten to the point where he is, and this is even crazier when you consider what he was as a player. He's a top 50 player of all time. Has he gotten to the point where he's more known for that, much like Madden was more known for the video game,
yes,
than he's known as a player?
yeah.
I think so. I don't think my kids have
I
any
was
point of
gonna
reference
say.
on him as a player.
Do they have point of reference on Shaq though?
Yeah.
Because the Lakers.
Lakers.
He's 61.
Kobe. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Chuck's.
I mean, it's
Chuck
certainly
was
possible.
last great in '94 when he won MVP in Phoenix with the Suns.
Yeah.
Furthermore, if you have that conversation of like, do the Mount Rushmore of it, if you were to do like people who are most important as a color analyst, leave play-by-play out of it in their sport, Chuck would be there with Madden.
Oh yeah.
So then who else?
That's made it to that level.
That's the dude. Like Madden had that for sure.
Yeah.
Chuck has that for sure.
It felt like Romo was headed there, but
Yeah.
I would say not anymore.
To me, it feels like Aikman's closer to that
Aikman's
than
closer
Romo.
right now, and then Brady, I'm guessing, will be.
Well, if he's good, I mean
He's going to be good.
people probably said the same thing about your boy Joe. It's the only way I'll besmirch Joe. He's not great at that. He's not great at TV. he was tough. It was tough.
I don't think that he the roast of he just couldn't Brady got up there and he has comedic time. He's just a better
But it's
Joe's just
the one thing that Peyton would have been better at.
It's also I think that you have people now who like Montana was a little bit earlier than his career's over by 94.
Yeah.
Like think about what media and sports media is and the coverage and the interviews and all the things that you do on top of that now. It's not even close. Like the only guy from that era, and I'm sure there are others and you can point them out, but that I remember doing anything outside of football where I was like, oh, I'd recognize him was Marino for the isotoner gloves and for Ace Ventura, which is a very small cameo.
Yeah, right.
But it wasn't
critical cameo.
It was very important cameo. Yeah,
at the laces out, Marino.
The big reveal.
The big reveal.
But you didn't have these guys now are groomed, and like Brady probably at the beginning of his career didn't have that, but by the end of he played throughout the whole 2010s. I mean, you're groomed to be talking in Romo.
To do what we're talking about, though, he needs to do it for 20
for a
years.
long time. Yeah,
a long time. It's got to be a 20-year.
I'm just saying. I think that guys now they have so much more media training than they did back in the 80s. And so Charles doing it at the level he does, that makes it stand out. Madden doing it at the level he does, that's because they're just forces of nature.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I think a guy who's just superb, but the sport doesn't have the reach and it doesn't have like this is on this channel. I think John Smoltz is damn good at baseball.
He's very good.
But you don't see it because baseball has slipped so far. College hoops, probably Vitale had that for a while, but he hasn't for us. But like my kids don't ever hear him anymore. On it.
He was incredible.
No, he was.
By the way, quick aside.
Yep.
We could do the rest, the final, 75 minutes of this program on what we need to do better as a society, but I'm going to focus on just one thing. Leave Steve Buscemi alone. Guys, just walking down the street in New York City.
Give me this story. I don't know this.
Yeah. What?
I don't know this story.
Walking down the street.
Steve Buscemi, what happened to Steve Buscemi?
Buscemi punched in his face by a man on a New York City street. Just walked up to him and punched him right in the face.
Random act of violence? Like so he got mugged.
He didn't even get mugged.
He just punched him for the sake of punching him?
Actor Steve Buscemi is okay after he was punched in the face by a man on the New York City street. The 66-year-old star of Fargo and Boardwalk Empire was assaulted late Wednesday morning in Manhattan, taken to a nearby hospital with bruising, swelling, and bleeding in his left eye. Steve Buscemi was assaulted in Midtown Manhattan, another victim of a random act of violence in the city. According to a statement Sunday from his publicist, he is okay and appreciates everybody's well wishes. The NYPD put out a nameless statement on the assault. His rep confirmed that the identified assault victim in the police statement was indeed the actor. And his Boardwalk Empire co-star Michael Stolbarg was hit in the back of the neck with a rock while walking in Manhattan Central Park on March 31st. He chased his attacker, who was taken into custody outside of the park. He's the latest celebrity to suffer a random attack on NYC streets.
Wow, that's wild. Did you watch that show?
Rick Moranis has been victimized.
He's been off the grid for a long time.
Rick Moranis was victimized. Very sad.
Did you watch Boardwalk Empire?
I don't think I finished it, but I remember watching some of it. It was like the
Prohibition.
Gangsters.
Yeah, Prohibition stuff.
Bugsy Siegel, was he in there?
No. Yeah, he might have been. Yeah, because it was the rise of like Lucky Luciano, like Arnold Rothstein, Capone. Actually, the most interesting part of that show as it got towards the later years was the guy they cast was so great who played Capone. Because he came in as a young kid, it kind of showed his rise.
Yeah.
But that was actually the best part of that show as it went on was what happened, what was going on in Chicago. It got less interesting what was happening in Atlantic City. It was based in Atlantic City.
Right.
I hate to see that. We do have some Brown news coming out of rookie minicamp weekend. Sunday signed quarterback Jacob Sermon. Now 5 quarterbacks on the roster. He finished his college career at Northern Colorado. Participated in the Browns' rookie minicamp on a tryout basis. He attended the University of Washington, Central Michigan, before transferring to Northern Colorado in 2022. You got to have an arm.
Look, Deshaun is coming back from injury, and so is DTR. So you need to have 3 guys that can throw the football, and this gives them that.
Yeah, so you get a little bit of that going forward.
Yeah.
We also had a couple of things around the league. Rules expert John Parry, leaving ESPN to work on a undisclosed team, will assist his new team and coaching staff on replay decisions and rules matters. There you go. Have somebody in-house for that.
Sure.
Our guy Elliot Wolf named as Executive Vice President of Player Personnel for the Patriots. Didn't we know this?
He wasn't officially. He ran the draft. He was their general manager, but he wasn't officially named that.
It was just a matter of time for him.
By the way, what do you think? That's just because you mentioned this John Perry thing. Like, what benefit that feels like an odd? You know the rules. He's going to help you, but he's not actually making calls in the game. He doesn't.
I don't know. Sometimes I think these organizations have so much money that they don't know what to do with, so they just throw. Like, why would you need this guy? I don't understand.
Though, you know how every team has a guy that is like, okay, yeah, you should challenge us or not.
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess having somebody who could look at it and be like, know the way the league thinks about it can maybe help you on challenges.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it, I think.
Would seem. Yeah, I don't know.
There aren't like a lot of loopholes in the rules now that you would be saying, okay, let's get, like where Belichick figured out how to have his linemen actually be eligible, nonsense stuff like that. I think they've closed a lot of those loopholes. I think that's interesting. That's an interesting thing. I just don't, it doesn't jump out to me what the value is other than you should challenge this or not. But a lot of times those things are quite obvious.
Yes. Yeah. Normally very. Manning announcing also last week that Bill Belichick will be the permanent guest on the Manning cast.
That's good. That's a good thing. We need to cut down on nonsense guests. Belichick, I'm hoping that means he does a half of every game. So then you could get a quarter of Peyton and Eli, a quarter of one guest, and then let Belichick do the whole second half with him, and then it'll be like real football.
I'm going to make one amendment.
Okay.
I don't want him in the second half if the game's bad. So I want to maximize my Belichick. So give me the second and third quarter of Belichick.
But don't you? I want him though.
Or could he float? Maybe we have him float.
If it's a good game, though, you want him. I want him talking about all this. I want to hear all of his thoughts on the strategy in the fourth quarter. He'll be fine in a bad game. He'll be funny. He'll talk about bad ball. He'll be fine.
Yeah, but some of those times you get it to half, it's 24-0.
But they could just start talking amongst themselves. Peyton and Belichick talking about their battles and the stories. Oh, I thought you were doing this. Have video packages ready to go in case games stink.
What do you make of the fact that because I'm guessing ESPN, I know it's an Omaha production, but I'm guessing it's ESPN compensating Belichick?
Okay.
The amount of money they've invested to two separate streams, theoretically, I know that it's all their umbrella, but like you're competing against yourself in a sense.
Yeah, it's out of one pie and you are competing against it, but they're probably saying that this serves, maybe they think that they'll get more total viewers because you're going to have all the casual people and then the people that are really into it will be over here.
So they can't do shtick with him.
He's funny, though.
No. What I'm saying is the scripted shtick.
I want all that out anyway.
Rid of it. Get rid of that.
I don't want it with anybody.
That we don't need it.
No.
We do not need it.
Wait, I don't need another, here's what you'd look like with Peyton's forehead. Don't care.
Don't care. Do you think yeah, so I think you go, if you're producing it, I think you're probably right. You go Manning first quarter, guest second quarter, and then second half is all Belichick.
Yeah.
And then does he sign up for that?
Bill. He's a permanent guest.
He must have.
Signed up for something.
Yeah.
He signed up for something.
He certainly did.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. We will have Coach from Meeting with the Media at Rookie Mini Camp in the second hour of the program. Do a little NBA conversation as well, plus Warren Sharp, most expensive wide receiver rooms, and new rookie linebacker Nathaniel Watson. You will have that as well coming up. Second hour of the program up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Whether you're down, let's stack.
Easy to maintain. Sounds good.
Laminate, trendy tiles, or coat.
All right, second out of the program here. It's your Uncle Bo for my team at Renew Home Exteriors. Time to update the exterior of your home. You know it is. You're tired of that same old vinyl siding. Well, get this. Receive 10% off of Renew's luxury composite clad siding during the spring siding sale. Composite not only outshines vinyl, it comes in 20 vibrant, maintenance-free colors to suit your lifestyle. Imagine a stunning exterior without the hassle. Renew Home with Renew Home Exteriors composite-clad siding. Renew Home Exteriors, superior products and superior service. Visit RenewEstimate.com for more. Now let's go back to rookie minicamp and your head coach, Kevin Stefanski.
You're down of having rookies in the building because they're seated in their chairs 15 minutes prior to the meeting. All the notebooks are open, pencils in their hand, very eager learners. Same thing out here. I think the walkthrough this morning started at 10:45, and I think 10:25 all of them were out here. So a little bit different than their veteran counterparts, but really fun work, fun for us to put them in a helmet, put them through an individual drill. As you know, the emphasis on certainly this week is on teaching and learning, not just the system, but getting to know our teammates and them getting to know the coaches, the staff, et cetera. So really pleased with how those guys handled today, and there's more work to do. They have some studying when they get back to the hotel tonight, and we'll get ready tomorrow for day 2 of rookie minicamp. But really pleased with where these guys are. And with that, I'll take any questions.
How did you think Zach looked? I mean, it's been a while since he'd been on the field for football. How did you think he looked?
Yeah, he said last time was, his last game, so putting that helmet back on. But he looks good. He's comfortable. He's working very hard with Andy and Roy and those guys. I'm just really pleased with where he is, but he looked comfortable to me.
Kevin, when we talk about the individual teaching, just what do you hope to glean and take away from this weekend?
Yeah, I think we look at it as really this weekend is the start, and then going into next week, it's really ramping these guys up as quickly as possible so that when they get dropped into general pop, they kind of know what the system's about, they know what the coaches are about, they know what to expect in the meeting room. So all of this is a process. So they're going to be overwhelmed today with information, and that's okay. They have time. We have time to work through it, but it may feel like they're drinking out of a fire hose with some of the things we give them, but that's just that's a very natural reaction to getting new information. But a lot of it is just there's no secret to it. There's no snap your fingers and figure it out. It's just sit down and spend as much time with the playbook as you can.
Kevin, I think you have 7 tryout players here this weekend. You got 6 draft picks who themselves are fighting to make this roster. What do you tell the guys that are coming in on these tryouts?
We really don't care, Daryl, whether you're drafted or free agent or you're on tryout. For us right now, this is an evaluation period, so all of those guys will get a fair shot as we look at them and see how they do in the meeting room, see how they do out here on the practice field. I've been around guys that have really impressed in a rookie minicamp and turned that into a job. So that does happen. So we are certainly looking at all these players and seeing how each of them could help us in the future.
Hey, Kevin, this is not a rookie question, but Andy Dickinson stepping in for Bill Callahan. What's that like for the veteran players? I mean, how does he earn their respect?
Yeah, I think, Jeff, with any person coming in to replace anybody, you want to just be yourself. You're not going to replace the person that came before you. And that's for players, coaches, head coaches, coordinators, position coaches. And in Andy's case, he's had a really interesting career already. He's been in different places. He's worn different hats, played different roles, very, very smart. So he's going to be himself, and I think players respond to that.
I think this time last year we were able to ask you about the schedule. Hasn't come out yet.
It will come out.
I know. Do you have any preferences of how you'd like to start the season, and what do you think about the possibility if you go to London?
Yeah, I really don't. I like schedule release day as much as everybody does.
30-30.
Goes down the schedule and comes up with a record at the end of it. As I've told you guys before, I like to see where our bye is. I like to see where the primetime games are, how many road games in a row, all those type of things. It's exciting for our league. We have no preference on where they place these games. We know who we're playing. We know where we're playing them, but we don't really care when the league decides to put them on there.
Make any special requests with your schedule this year?
What did we request last year?
Back-to-back West Coast trips.
Oh, got it. Yeah, nothing specific.
You're up.
When does the teams start to get? When did the schedule get made available to them? Because everybody does those elaborate.
Well,
videos. You already have the teams, but
no, you shoot like each scene.
Yeah.
With every possible
with every potential outcome.
Or you can do it in a way that could be inserted into post-production. But if you're doing something that would be, let's say, live action, you have to shoot it for
multiple times, multiple different scenarios.
Possibility.
Okay. So will they get any, will our guys get any heads up?
You usually get it.
A little bit?
Maybe a couple that day, right?
It's usually that day at some point in the day. But it could be 4:00, and it's like, okay.
Not a lot of notice. They don't want it. They have turned it into a television show. So
for sure. And don't you?
The international games, by the way, will be announced Wednesday morning.
Could we be in one of those? We're still in play in London, right?
Potentially.
Yeah. I think it's probably
feels likely,
somewhat likely.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I was curious about is the delay. A lot of the reading I've done that suggests that it had to do with working out the Christmas thing because of the Wednesday.
Seems
Christmas
to be
Day
a popular
theory
reason,
right? That it's a little bit complicated. On December 21st, which is a Saturday, the NFL will be playing games on that Saturday, December 21st, as they are known to do at that time. It will go head to head with college football. It'll go head to head with the college football quarterfinals. Will be that day as well. So they will go head-to-head that day. So that'll be – I'm curious to see how that shakes out. It'll depend so much on –
and that's like a triple header usually.
It's a triple header. It'll be – well, yeah. I mean, I think – I just read that the NFL is committed, I think, to 2 games.
For Christmas, 2 games.
I thought I read –
Saturday before, I think it was a triple header.
What I read about – so I think what is – again, there's a lot out there. But the way I understood it is that they would do 2 on the 21st and 2 on the 25th, and that those would be the same 4 teams.
I could see that. I know
that it's a pod. It's a pod.
So it's a pod. So there will be 2 games on the 21st, 2 games on the 25th. So if you play so instead of doing a triple header like they used to do, they're just going to play those 2, and then
maybe you do the triple header the week before, because it's usually the Saturday games usually start right after the conference.
Yeah, could be. And so
championship games.
You will go – the college football is going to probably go noon, 3:30, 7 is probably would be there, or 7:30, whatever. That'll be the college football window for their quarterfinals, and then the NFL will have 2 games that day head-to-head. So if you're the NFL, do you get cutesy here and put one of these on Peacock, or do you play the hits and put it on network and try to bomb them?
If you're competing, you got to play the hits.
But the crazy thing is they're not – they are competing, but they're not, because it's also their farm system. So, the fact that they don't just all work something out so this doesn't happen.
So there isn't any head-to-head.
There's no reason for these 2 entities to go head-to-head because they are mutually beneficial.
Correct.
I would think I almost – one of those games the Saturday before Christmas last year was on Peacock. Wasn't it like Chargers and –
It was. Yeah, that was on Christmas Eve. Or no, wait. It was the day before Christmas. It was the 23rd because we played the Texans 24th, and that was on at our big dinner.
That's right, in Houston.
Yeah. So, if you're the NFL, are you trying to squash this out in college football? Because basically this is a 2-year window for college football with a 12-team playoff and with this schedule. Then in 26 they'll do it. They'll redo the whole thing, whether it's 16 teams or whatever, change the calendar. But for the next 2 years, they're going to go head-to-head. So if you're the NFL, do you want to bury it and say, don't ever come again on our weekends? Play your little college games on Fridays?
That's interesting.
Because college football on ESPN/ABC will do well, depending on what the opposite is on the other side.
Sure.
Here's the other. I also wonder, could you do another slate of Saturday games Saturday after Christmas, which would conflict big time? Because you still have 2 weeks left in the season.
Well, the only thing is
college be done then?
College, no.
That'll be the start of the
down
playoff?
to the final 4.
But college football goes to then they, of course, for the bowls. So once they get after the quarterfinal, then they will get to they'll play around New Year's Eve.
The Rose Bowl.
Right.
Yeah. And so then you'll be.
But my guess is on those
then
Saturdays.
they'll play the semifinals the 9th, and the championship games January 20th or something. It's way out.
And the championship game is on a Monday.
Correct.
Yeah.
Dumb.
So it's all stupid. Like college football should be done by New Year's Day.
Yes.
And they just should play straight through instead of having the breaks.
Yes.
And quite honestly, as someone who talks about both a lot, the simple solution would be, hey, NFL, just give us these 3 Saturdays so we can knock this thing out. We'll play our national championship game on New Year's Eve, and we're out of your way, and everybody wins. You still have this thing that sets up ready-made stars. You don't, because they don't. If you're the NFL, you don't want to diminish the college product.
No.
That's how you get Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and Drake May.
You get people's
Marvin
brands
Harrison.
coming in.
Yeah, you get huge brands. We saw that with Johnny. We saw it with Bake. So, yeah, I mean, you don't want to – they work hand in hand. And one thing I do know is that the current leadership in the SEC with Greg Sankey, who's the commissioner, and Tony Petitti, who's the commissioner of the Big Ten, they are NFL friendly and conversations have taken place. So there is dialogue between Goodell and those two entities, which is something that did not happen in the Jim Delaney era of the Big Ten. So they're making some steps there, but it just makes no sense to compete, I don't think. All right, what do you got in this Warren Sharp thing, Gibbe?
Warren Sharp posted a little tweet today, most expensive wide receiver rooms in 2024. Do you want to attempt to guess the top? I mean, I'm not going to ask you to literally rank the top 10, but can you guess the 10?
Well, you have to think who's been paid. So to me, it would feel like Philly would be probably decently high. Miami would be decently high.
Okay. I would tell you that Philly, you're wrong. Philly comes in at number 19.
Oh, my gosh.
But they paid Devontae Smith and
A.J. Brown.
But maybe the first year of Devontae's deal is like
is
those
it
first
like
years,
1
it's
million?
like nothing. Let me look.
Oh, it's maybe that type of thing.
How
could you do that if you paid them both?
You couldn't.
Miami comes in at number 4.
Okay, so we had that right.
You got that one.
So A.J. Brown's cap number is 11, and Devontae Smith's cap number is 8. So that's at least 19.
So Philly's most expensive. They're the 19th most, $27.6 million.
Okay.
So Miami.
Miami was at 48.8.
This is going to be a weird one, but I think it's right. Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, with
Devontae and Jacoby Myers.
You would be correct at number 6, 42.1.
Okay. That was 6. Miami was 4.
Is this just receivers, or can this
just
be
receivers?
Just wide receivers.
Just wide receivers.
But the wide receiver room.
Has Chase been paid?
Not yet. He has not been paid yet.
And they don't have an expensive third.
No.
But Higgins is on the franchise.
Bears?
DJ
number
Moore,
5 at 45.6.
Is Cincy on it?
Cincy is number 10 at 39.3. That $20 million for T. Higgins.
Yeah.
And then
Where are
you
we?
still have
We're on it. We got to be
We're
on
on
it with Amari.
number 12,
Okay, not in top 10.
38.9.
Okay. 49ers.
Number 1 at $55 million just on their wide receiver room.
Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
54.7. Number 2.
Ram it? No, it's just Cooper.
Ramit's number 7, $40.9 million. That's 3
Seattle's
in a
two?
division.
You said Seattle's
Yeah,
too.
so we need 3,
Yes.
8, and 9. Houston?
Number 17.
Okay. And about Diggs if he had bumped them up.
Right, yeah. What about
Tennessee.
Number 9. $40.5 million.
Hopkins, Ridley,
yeah,
Tyler Boyd.
Bucks?
Number 8. $40.9 million.
All right, so we're missing an obvious one. My guess is Dallas.
And there you go. Cowboys at number 3.
Pretty good.
$51.2 million.
We had 3 guesses that were not accurate.
Yeah.
Us,
Everything
Philly,
else was in there.
and one more. Everything else
I'm
was
shocked at Philly. I mean, they just paid both of them, but they just all in those two.
I wonder who else. Yeah, I mean, no one else in that wide receiver room must be making a whole lot.
Well, it'll change. I mean, like Cincinnati's going to change that, and Minnesota will change that.
Yeah, Minnesota.
So your bottom 3 wide receiver rooms, the Chargers
Carolina.
at number 30, $12.8 million.
Thank God they did so much to give Justin Herbert a
Carolina.
I mean, is that malpractice?
Yes.
Herbert, what they've done with him?
They continue to
like
screw
first
him
they
over.
give him that coach with all that talent, and now there's no talent.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Good luck. Godspeed. Now we're going to give you a coach, but we're going to take away all your weapons.
Is Carolina?
Carolina's number 16.
Who are they paying?
$34 million. I did not see that coming.
No, I didn't either.
They still suck.
They do.
Dude, I'm surprised the Lions aren't higher with.
I was going to guess them
because of
with
Amon-Ra.
He's 20. They're 26th.
Does that have his new contract in it? I guess who else are they paying?
I mean, this was yesterday at 1:30.
Well, who are the Colts paying? They got to be down there.
Colts are
No, they
18th.
paid Pittman.
Oh,
Pittman's there.
Who are the bottom two?
Have the Falcons paid anybody yet?
Yeah, they must have because they're 20th.
Okay.
27.1.
G-men?
Are the Saints paying anybody at receiver?
Where New Orleans is 22nd, the G-men are 23rd.
Okay.
Oh, New England. Who are they?
24th.
The Denver Broncos.
14.
What?
Oh, Green Bay.
Green Bay is number 32 at
rookies.
$11.5 million.
Yep. All right, so they're 32.
The Chiefs?
No, KC's 25th, though.
Who's 30? You said who is 30?
The Chargers.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens.
27th.
I thought that was a good guess. The Steelers?
Number 31.
There you go.
There you go.
Crazy. Green Bay and the Steelers have spent 11. By the way, it's crazy because they have how many quarterbacks the Squealers do? Under contract for under $5 million?
Oh, yeah.
100.
Yeah.
Well, they traded Deontay Johnson away. That's probably what bumped up Carolina and brought them down.
Yeah, that's probably it. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was a
interesting
fascinating
allocation of resources there. It's amazing how much money is spent at the receiver room out west. All those NFC West teams have thrown a lot of cash.
Three in the top,
receivers.
three in the top 7.
All right, we got a big one tonight here in town. Cavs in a must-win, plus the NFL Draft Lottery. By the way, I'd still love to see one of these in the NFL. I would. We'll get into it coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
We rally around the Browns.
You're down.
And if you've been injured, the best fans in the world deserve award-winning attorneys to get them the compensation they need. Elk & Elk is proud to stand with you at
Champions League, the free gaming community for Browns fans around the world. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/Champions League to play Fortnite for a chance to win an autographed Deshaun Watson jersey. Cavs in a must-win tonight. Yes, for sure. Mitchell was not on the floor at shoot-around, questionable with the left calf injury in this one. My hunch is he plays.
Yes.
Did you guys see Bronny James staying
He's cleared.
in the draft? He's cleared, and he's going to give it a go.
What does that mean? Where does he go? Does someone just take him with the hopes that Dad's going to come along for the ride?
Well, I was on, but I think Wendy was on RBS, and didn't he kind of, or he was on something this morning. I saw
him on Get Up this
maybe
morning.
It was that. I saw the transcript. I did not hear it.
So I listened
kind of threw
to it.
water on it. What did you make of it?
Wendy totally threw water on it, number one. Number two, he said, at this week at the Combine, scouts, front office, coaches want to hear from Bronny because Bronny doesn't talk. His dad does his talking for him. And I think teams want to know, A, are you in 100% or are you going back to school? Is there a chance you can go back to school? And B, like they actually want to hear and talk to him and not his dad. And that's been kind of a negative that's been following him as he gets ready for this NFL scouting or NBA scouting combine.
Maybe this what I'm about to say is completely wrong, but it feels to me unless his name, if his name was,
you're right,
Bob Schmohawk, he's not even going to the NBA combine.
No, he averaged 5 points a game at USC coming
Correct.
off the bench. His season high was 15.
Right.
So, yeah.
So they want to talk to him, and to me, it feels like the only reason that he's going to get drafted is because a team or teams or the entire league perhaps believes that if they draft him, they can get LeBron.
Well, yeah, and don't we also think that like LeBron and Rich Paul and all of them have enough power in the league to like just say, hey, nobody draft him so he can sign with the Lakers as a free agent?
But don't you want to, like, if you're not going to be drafted, why just go back to school?
Yeah, I don't know. I know I talked to Holtman about this because they were in on him at the very end last summer, like very, very in at the end. And he said that LeBron and Savannah were amazing, like that they were hands off at Bronny's decision. Like they were just like parents on the recruiting trip. Like they were just parents. They weren't like saying, hey, this or demanding anything. There wasn't anything like that. So he said where they were concerned, it was great. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like if that isn't his name, he's probably just going to go find another place to play college basketball,
right,
and get his education, and because he doesn't have elite traits. Like you guys watch. You went to the NBA. You went to the game what, Thursday? You went.
Mm-hmm.
When you go watch an NBA game in person, the size of the humans.
Yeah.
It's even from what it was when we were kids.
Correct.
The amount of 6'11", 7-footers that can all shoot. Karl Anthony Towns shooting from 30 feet over the weekend. Like, this is not a sport.
Yeah. The kid who's a point guard for the Thunder is 6'8".
Yeah.
Getty or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Yeah. Banchero's a big dude.
They were having, when the Magic were playing the Cavs, a lot of times in some of their, they were having Jonathan Isaac, who's 7'1", guarding Garland out on the wing and was guarding him.
Right.
Now, he couldn't post up Darius Garland, which I found to be laughable.
Right.
But
he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
So when you see that and then Bronny's a 6'4", 2 guard, it's hard to make sense.
I watched Zach Edey run the 40 this morning. Did you see that?
Yeah, I was going to. But why does he need to? How many 40s are you going to run in the NBA? If Zach Edey plays in the league
down the floor, but
I understand, but like you've got 4 years of tape of him at Purdue. You know exactly what he is or what he is not.
Yes.
I think there is a place for him in the league. Like he's 7'4". He's got good touch. He hits his free throws. He's a rim presence. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he's not. This is a garbage draft, by the way. Garbage. The two guys I saw a mock draft yesterday that had Reed Shepherd going 3rd and Rod Dillingham going 4th. So those are two guards at Kentucky, neither which started. They did not start at Kentucky. And those two guys are going 3rd and 4th in this. This draft is a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Total. So in that sense, you could gamble on Bronny for the hope of hitting the lottery. You're not going to miss out on anything great. But it's so many foreign players. There's those two kids, and then there's a couple of kids from UConn. Very little collegiately it's all kind of a miss. Yeah. Which leads us to this: the NBA draft lotteries over the weekend. The Hawks just 3% chance at getting the number 1 pick, and they landed it. That doesn't happen very often.
The look of disbelief and anger at the Pistons execs.
Good. I've always hated the Pistons. So the Pistons had the highest percentage 2 years in a row, right?
2 years in a row. They ended up like it's
fifth.
Very small
they ended
odds
up,
to do what they've done.
I would say this. You're going to be right back in it next year. That Cooper Flagg kid's going to be in the draft next year, the kid from Maine. Land it then.
He plays for the University of Maine?
No, he's going to
He's
Duke.
a high school He's a high school kid from Maine, okay, who I think he played last year at IMG or one of the academies. I'm not sure where. But he reclassified a year early, so he's going to Duke in what would have been his senior year of high school next year.
What's his name?
Cooper Flagg. But he
comes up ahead of Cooper Kupp when you type Cooper into Google.
Yeah.
You're darn right.
Yeah, he's a dude.
I don't know about that.
He's a big time.
Cooper
dude.
Kupp won the Triple Crown in the National Football League. This guy hasn't played a second at college basketball.
This kid's going to be the one. So, like, if you're Detroit, be cool with it.
He attends Monteverde Academy in Monteverde, Florida, or
Monteverde.
But like your fan
he's a
base
Maine
is
kid,
like
which is
you
crazy.
have tanked for 2 years in a row and got bupkis out.
Well, but you got Cade Cunningham, and he's pretty good. Yeah, you didn't get Wembanyama.
But you still suck.
Yeah, you're going to suck because you're getting 18-year-olds. You're not going to get Wembanyama was great this year, and they suck.
Yeah, they have 2 picks in the top 10. I didn't realize.
Yeah, and a bad draft.
Yeah, so what?
I'd be shopping those.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Yeah, it's tricky. I've continued to say I'd love to see an NFL draft lottery. I love a lottery. I think it's great.
Why?
I think it's fun. I think it's interesting.
It disincentivizes tanking, but then at the same time, you could have a team that picked up a one. I like the way the NFL
look.
is.
It works out the other way. I mean, look what Indy did. Manning gets hurt. They said, "Screw it. Luck's here. Let's bail." Like that was disingenuous.
Curtis Painter gave his all that year.
I just would like the content. I think it would be a fun television show to do an NFL draft lottery, heavily weighted.
And the irony of it is,
like if the Bears didn't know, if nobody knew who was going to be picking Kelly Williams until one night, and it was an envelope handed it out, who gets hurt? What's the hurt of it? It's almost never when somebody comes way up.
So the weird thing is only 5 people play at a time in the NBA, and winning the right lottery, like the Cavs with LeBron, even though he didn't win that time, he had to come back to win. That changes the course of your franchise. But I also feel like it feels like the stakes in the NFL of getting that quarterback is much bigger than it is of getting, unless you're talking about LeBron. Like, who's the last number 1 overall pick that you would put in that category?
In the NBA?
NBA.
Wembanyama was that.
No.
I mean, I'm sure there's been others through the years that have been like, I mean, if you went back and looked, like Anthony Edwards, everybody kind of thought he was going to be something. Ben Caro. So there's been plenty of them. Cunningham. There's a lot of them that were like, yeah, that's a dude. Like, that's the guy to take. So, yeah, I guess it's a bigger lottery win in the NBA if you win it than it's ever going to be in the NFL. There's plenty of number 1 overalls who bust.
For sure.
Think about all the number 1 overalls.
The difference is this, and I don't know how the NBA set. Like, I don't know what the number 1 overall pick gets paid in the NBA.
Okay.
But if you get a quarterback on a rookie deal in the NFL that is a stud, that changes your economics for 5 years.
I imagine it'd be the same in the association.
Yeah.
It would all be similar.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, the more apples to apples would be like the NHL where you play so many more players. They do a lottery. You know, baseball doesn't matter because it takes forever for a guy to go. That Paul Skeens kid is nuts. But I mean, normally it takes a long time for
to get
people
him from
to go
there to draft.
Yeah.
To playing.
Whereas in the NFL, it's pretty quick. Be fun television show. Be fun to watch.
What if you did the lottery after the top 3?
No, because I want the number 1 pick lotteried. And then in the second round, it can revert to record. And then the rest of the way, it's record. But the first however many picks, and if you don't want like a team that went 8-8 give them a 0.1% chance, just weight it so that the bottom 3 have the best chance, and the furthest you could drop is third. Just like there's ways to do it. But I think that I don't see the downside of doing it. Everybody else does it. It makes for a fun TV show.
Yep.
We have the best sport in the world. Let's make a fun TV show. All right, there you go. New linebacker Nathaniel Watson's introductory presser coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, now let's head back to the podium presented by Vivid Seats. Browns rookie linebacker Nathaniel Watson's introductory press conference.
How y'all doing?
You're down.
Good. Glad to sign out finally.
Nathaniel Watson. Well, what are your first impressions here of your rookie minicamp?
Feeling great. Ready. Just glad to be back in football season. So me ain't football season, but it getting close for me. I went through all the combine, pro days and stuff. So I'm glad all that over, training for track athlete for a good couple months. Now I'm back in football shape. So yeah, I just can't wait to get started.
I saw you for FaceTime with Martin Emerson after you got picked. Has he been giving you some pointers or telling you where to live or anything like that?
Yeah, we didn't talk too much about living, but we really just talked about how I'm gonna fit in the defensive scheme. He said he gonna love to get me around here, so I just can't wait to get with him and the rest of the older players, just to learn more from all of them.
I know you were at school a long time, 6 years. Can you explain how that came to be? How you ended up playing 6 years?
Honestly, we was gonna come out last year, but I just didn't feel like I was ready. Me personally, I didn't feel like I was ready to take the next step to the league, so I just decided to go back another year. I mean, it's free education, so I might as well go ahead and use it, get another degree, and then just finish out as best as I can.
And you got a couple degrees.
Yeah, I got two. I got an undergrad and a master's. So yeah.
What are they in?
My undergrad, interdisciplinary studies, which is concentration of kinesiology, criminology, psychology, and then my master is workforce education leadership. So yeah.
What does that mean?
Which one?
The workforce.
It means really just I can do anything with it. So I can really be a coach, or if I wanted to, just give me a nice job. So yeah.
And you played for 5 different head coaches?
No, I played for 3.
3?
Yeah. Coach Moorhead. I committed under Dan Mullen, and then I committed. Yeah, I never played for him, so I played for Moorhead, Coach Leach, and Coach Arnett.
So you had a lot of coaching changes.
Yeah.
But you elected to stay at Mississippi State. Why?
Yeah, it's just my loyalty, which is speak for itself. With transfer portal and everything now that's going on in college, you have a lot of kids want to dip out, chase the money a lot, and me personally, with some of the my other fellow teammates from Mississippi State, we had selected just to stay and just ride it out till the wheels fall off. So that's what we did.
You seem just, so you're well educated and you've got it all together. But when you look at, some of the stuff in your background, to meet you, you might think that you are as, you got a master's degree, but you might think that you had a little bit of whatever. What's the deal with some of that off-the-field stuff that you do?
I mean, young and dumb. I mean, it happened to a lot of young people. So, I mean, you really can't. I really don't look too much back into it. It's a learning process. Learn from all my mistakes. So that's really just move forward.
What were some of the biggest lessons you took away? Especially because the drag racing is somebody got hurt.
Yeah. So really just what did you learn from that stuff? Really just me being more careless of who around me and stuff. Taking precaution. Really just knowing not to play around in cars and just do more for myself. Just because you got a spotlight on yourself. So being in the league, and then when I was in Mississippi State, having big shoes to fill, and being in my role, you got a lot of eyes on you. So just being cautious of everything.
Did you have a lot of experience on special teams at MSU?
Yeah, in the back of the years, I played special team. I've only played special team my sophomore year, and then the years out, I played a few of it. But I really ain't got too much, so I look to play a lot of special team here, though. Yeah. I mean, I do whatever I need to do to get on the field. So if I got to learn how to play lineman, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah,
so,
linebackers get a lot of special teams play.
That's the plan. That's the plan, most definitely.
What do you know about the Browns linebackers?
Say that again.
What do you know about this group of Browns linebackers?
That they play fast, physical, and they're gonna get to the ball. So really, what Coach been telling us about. So really, just showing us what's our job description and everything. Just be the GPS, the navigator. So control the defense, keep them calm and everything. So yeah.
Do you get concerned that perhaps some teams thought about some of that off-the-field stuff, and that's why you lasted until the 6th round? And how grateful are you that the Browns really just got to know you as a person and saw that?
Nah, I don't think it went too much into it. Me personally, I think it's politics. I mean, I can't speak too much on it. So it is what it is. But I'm thankful for the opportunity that the Browns called me. I mean, I got at the Senior Bowl, I had a good time with Coach F, the safety coach. So, me and him chopped it up a lot. I had a feeling I was going to come to the Browns. I just didn't know when. So, he told me they were going to get me. So, yeah, he wasn't lying. So.
You were a big offensive star in high school.
Yeah, that's what I be telling people. Nah.
How did you end up on defense? Was it
so when Coach Moorhead came in, he had Coach Lukabu with him. And when he was NFL linebacker, NFL coach, so he really persuaded me over to come to defense, saying I make a lot of money on defense side. So then I just went with the flow, and then after seeing previous linebackers get drafted and then go on and make money, I was like, I might really have a shot at this.
You don't miss scoring touchdowns?
Not really. I get my happiness out of knocking people out. So that's a positive for me.
Nathaniel, there's this new kickoff rules, I guess, that are going to be in effect for coverage and all that in the NFL. It seems like nobody really knows how that's going to work yet. How excited are you, as you get more into special teams, to kind of be a part of that here from the ground floor? So
I don't know how it's going to work either, but I know it's we close together, so that means it's just a better impact. So, like I said, I'm a physical person. I just love hitting somebody, so I just can't wait to get out there on special team.
How many years did you play with Emerson?
Emerson? 3.
3?
Yes, sir.
Were you particularly close, or just teammates, or?
We were close. We hung out outside of football, and then on the field, I was their leader, so they had to listen to me. But now I got to look up to him since he an old head. So
did you follow him once he got here?
Yeah, most definitely. I've been following. I've been following Browns since he came up here. I was following Seahawks when my old offensive lineman, D lineman, went up there, Cam Young and Charles Cross, and then I'll be following Cowboys with Dak Prescott, of course, and then another linebacker Tyrus Wheat. So yeah, I follow everything.
That part would be a teammate with Prescott, do you?
Nah, I just watch him. I plan on sacking his ass. Don't quote me on that, but I'm gonna get my team with that.
Surprised you felt in the 6th round?
Surprised? It is what it is at this point. I'd just be grateful for the opportunity. I wasn't surprised. I definitely was emotional. Me and just seeing my mom and grandma there when they heard my name get called and they just started busting out of tears, they really made me break down. Plan was never to cry, but, man cry. So
talk about your physicality. The fact that you fell in the 6th round, does that give you a little more edge to prove that people have passed up on you?
I was going to have the edge regardless. That's just me. My work there to speak for itself. I always play with the edge, just trying to get paid. So really, yeah.
You talk about your physicality, and the Browns mentioned kind of the rare size that you have. Do you feel like you're different than a lot of linebackers in today's NFL just because you are, 235?
Yeah, me personally, just because it ain't too many linebackers that can blitz, cover, and stop the run. And me personally, I think I got all 3 of them phases. So.
Do you think the fact that you were older, that you played 6 years, do you think that was part of the reason why maybe some teams stayed away from you?
No, I don't know. I don't know too much about that.
What is that like, the emotions of you sitting there and names keep getting called, they're not your name? Is it anxiety, or how would you describe that?
I really just describe it as I was laid back, just chilling. Just spending time with the family, having the family all around, just spending time with them, just see them, just be happy for me in the moment. And then when my name got called, just seeing all their smiles on their face, so it really wasn't too much to it.
Can you describe your hometown, how small it is?
700.
But is there?
It's one caution light. What's the big? It's one caution light. I don't even think it worked. The biggest store? I think Dollar General.
What is it?
Dollar General.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, it's Maplesville, small town. You pass through Tuscaloosa. Well, you come out of Tuscaloosa and try to go to Montgomery, you wouldn't even know it's there. It's a gas station that, I don't know, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it's Maplesville unless you, drive to town, which, again, is one caution light in the middle of town. So yeah.
You're the only player to come out of there? The only NFL player?
Nah, my uncle on my dad's side, Tommy A.G., and then Harold Marr, all them came to the NFL. So.
Do you agree when people say you're just a country boy, like a down-home?
Do I what?
A down-home country guy? Like that's.
I sound country?
Too bad. No, you don't. One of the Browns guys, one of the Browns or personnel guys said you were. I think your high school coach said that's.
I'm a country boy?
Yeah.
I think I'm just a natural person. Yeah, I got a little city and country in me, though. I ain't gonna lie. So, yeah.
Did Martin Emerson set the bar pretty high for you in terms of coming in here as a rookie and just knocking it out of the park right away?
Yeah, I think he told the linebacker something about me, so we'll see. We'll see when they all get here what he says. So we'll see how high he set the bar for me.
After you were selected, scouts were saying that one of the big things they liked about you was your intelligence and how quick you picked things up. For you, when you're here now, what are some of the questions that you're asking? What are some of the things you're hoping to take in as you are like a sponge in this building?
Really just how I can get on the field quicker, how I can learn faster. Really, like you said, just taking everything in, be a sponge, ask the coaches why they doing this, why that. Just ask the question why. That's really what I was taught throughout my draft process. Just ask why behind every question. So, yeah.
We got time for one more. He got to.
There's always a lot said about just the transition from college to the NFL. Obviously, you haven't been out there yet, so especially with the whole team. Just what are you anticipating are some of the big
30-30
adjustments that you'll have to kind of experience as you make the leap?
Probably, I honestly don't even know. I probably just say really just being out there with guys that I didn't watch growing up and being starstruck for a while. So yeah, I'm probably that probably be my biggest like emphasis, like getting over. Cause Myles Garrett, I see Myles Garrett, I'm be like, damn, I'm really on his team. I'm really on their team. So yeah, that's probably gonna be like the biggest thing. So yeah, I look forward to it though. So. All right. Appreciate y'all.
You're up.
I like that kid. I like him.
I like him a lot.
Little juice to him.
I think Coach Tarver likes him so far. I think Bubba Ventrone likes him so far. I think he goes to SEC Defensive Player of the Year.
He's arguably one of the biggest linebackers that I've seen.
Oh, in
quite some time.
He's a specimen.
Just getting a look. Yeah, I wasn't here, so just getting a look at him like he's just a load.
I didn't realize he was who he was until he went to the podium, and I'm like, oh, well, that's not what I was expecting at linebacker.
Well, we talked about him 6'2", 240.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, that's a big man. That's a big man indeed.
Yeah, yeah. The just your guys' impression of what you getting a chance to talk to some of the rookies and be around them on Friday. What'd you think?
I think we got a lot of guys that are going to be. I mean, Zinter just strikes me as he's just going to be a good pro, just forever. Obviously, Mike Hall is exciting, and seeing him on the field, you can see that quick first step, that explosiveness that he has stands out. Thrash, I know on the mental side of things, has done very, very well. He's not as big as I would have thought he was.
Okay.
I was impressed by Miles Harden. Gibbe did a nice interview with him.
I feel like there's somewhere for him.
He's a well-built kid
team.
too. Like he was good kid out of South Dakota. And then
Jawan Briggs. I don't know why I said Diggs. I did that the other day.
Briggs, he's married with 3 kids.
Jeez.
Yeah. Grew up in Cincinnati,
was a fast food
went
manager.
to Virginia, came back and played at Cincinnati to wrap up his college career.
And he is built. It's a big, strong guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was good.
That's cool. Very good. All right, there you go. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Well, what do you think? Cover City tonight? If you were doing the scores.
What's the line? I want them to win, so yeah, sure.
Yeah. One thing I noticed about the NBA playoffs, if it starts going bad.
Goes real bad.
Real bad.
I mean,
Blowout
Celtics
City, they
completely were just like, okay, we lost the game.
Fine.
Forget
we'll
it.
See you down the road. Yeah, we're good.
It doesn't really matter if you lose by 2 or if you lose by 20. It's the same.
Yeah, doesn't matter. So, yeah, I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him play a meaningful game 6 here.
Yes. It was trending the way you and I talked about last week.
was.
Like blowouts, but it would go 6 games.
Yeah.
1 minute,
And that's where we're headed, is that.
Yeah.
Like, we've had 3 kind of non-competitives. So, be fun to get a good game into the fourth quarter and find a way to pull one out. I think Mitchell plays. I think he gives it his best. Kid's a warrior. Absolutely. All right, go Cavs tonight. We are back tomorrow. The next level is coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.